Yeah.
So we're going to keep
Hey,
it. So, all right, Gigi is
we're
live.
live.
We're live, yeah.
Hey everyone, welcome to Cooking Chat, Girls Cooking Chat with Shane and Simple. We have here. Yeah, I feel like we've it's been a while since we've done Cooking Chat. I guess with the holidays, it just seems like it's been forever. But yeah, we're excited to be here, and I hope you guys have seen the recipe. This is an easy one. So I'm hoping a lot of you guys are partaking. So if you
Yeah,
guys are in the chat, go ahead and say hi, or we're making something, or just let us
yeah.
know that you're here.
And hey to everybody on the replay.
Yes, 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 yes. And this is on YouTube. So hey YouTube, hey Facebook,
Yep.
hey LinkedIn, I think too.
I'm on
So
link. Yeah, my LinkedIn page. So
yeah.
yeah, so we wanted to pick something that was fast and easy because we know that a lot of you are very busy.
Mhm.
And the common kind of concern or complaint or sometimes excuses, well, cooking healthy takes too long, it's too much effort. And this recipe is like the best. This like totally
Mhm.
debunks any of that because
Yeah.
we're talking about like 6 ingredients plus some optional toppings and like 15 minutes total. And we
Mm.
have the Shane Martin from Shane and Simple
Yes.
here. Shane,
Hey.
this
Yeah. No, let's be honest. The reason we probably chose this recipe is because it has very few ingredients, it's very quick, and it gives us more time to talk. So
yes,
Yes,
that's why we're doing
yes,
it.
yes, yes, yes.
so true,
So,
so true. Yeah. So Shane, you were on here last year in January. It
Hmm.
was, I think,
yes.
yeah, just a little over a year ago.
Oh
Because I
wow,
got
that's
that little,
right.
yeah, I got that little Facebook memory popped up
Yeah,
and said, yep.
I did too. So, yeah. So we were uh, I was still living in Charlotte,
Hmm.
hmm
and we did the spinach artichoke dip,
Yes, I remember that.
hmm
Yes.
and it popped up in my Facebook memory the other day. I got a little weepy because we didn't leave North Carolina. We moved
Oh
back to
yeah.
Mississippi to be closer to family.
Yeah.
But
Mm.
so when it popped up and I saw my kitchen, and I was like,
Yeah.
so it was. But it's hard to believe that was a year ago, though.
I
I
I
know.
mean,
know.
yeah, I mean,
Amazing.
yeah, I had to do a double take because I was like, it just, yeah. But we talked a few times, Gigi, too.
Oh
I mean, it kind
yeah.
of, yeah. Sersie, Gigi got to hear my rant one day after we had
Uh-huh.
moved, and
Yeah.
just it was, she was kind of like she's more counselor that day, I guess, because
Yeah,
I was
yeah,
just.
yeah, yeah. Yeah.
So,
Yeah, I feel like I'm a part of it only because I follow you on the Facebook page and you always come in and do updates and stuff like that. So I've been following you there with this story.
well, well, thank you.
Yeah.
So, but so what are we
All
gonna? What
right.
do you want
Yeah.
to
So
do? Do
we're
you want to
making
cook?
your easy. So when you came up with this recipe, Shane, was this
Hmm.
like a Tuesday night taco that you're like, hey, we only got 15 minutes? Like, what's the story behind
Yeah,
this recipe?
yeah. It's funny. I
Hmm.
had seen. So obviously, I don't use oil in any of my recipes or anything
Mhm.
like that, and
Yeah.
I was trying to make. I had roasted chickpeas one time,
Mm.
Mm.
and they get really crunchy. And so when I feel like I'm gonna want to cheat a little bit, there's those bags like at World Market of
Yeah, that sell them
to
already made. Yeah.
yes, yeah. And so if we're going on a trip, I like to pop a few of those. And so I was going to try to make them one night, and I don't know what it was. After I got healthy, I just had a craving for spicy foods. I love
Mhm.
spicy foods. So
Yeah.
Indian and Thai, and I usually like it really hot.
Yeah.
And so one night, I thought instead of baking them, I was like, oh, I'll just throw them in a. I took the seasonings and I just threw them in a pan, and then I don't even remember how I added the soy sauce. I guess I just needed a little more liquid because I had drained them and patted them because I had originally planned on
Roasting
baking
them.
them.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
Yeah, and so when I threw the little bit of soy sauce in there, it just kind of clumped up.
Mm.
And I thought, well, throw it on anything in a wrap or a tortilla. And all I had was corn tortillas. And I thought, so we just threw it on a corn tortilla, and we had some guacamole in the fridge.
Yeah.
So we just topped it with guacamole, and that was it. And we were
Yeah.
like, my wife was like, it's like literally one of my wife's favorite things to make and have.
Wow.
So it's like,
Wow.
but I think the reason that we love making it so much is it's literally stupid simple. I mean, it just, you throw them in a hot pan and throw them in a tortilla, and that's it. And
I love that.
Simple
stupid
things.
Simple, guys. It's just stupid simple. You know?
It's so easy, even a man can do it. So
yeah.
Hey, Kevin. No, I'm just kidding. Never mind.
Hey, I include myself in that. So.
Yeah.
But that was just basically it. It started out as trying to roast chickpeas, and I got lazy, and I was like, I don't want to roast them, so I just threw them in a pan.
Yeah.
And that was really it. It's become, it's one of the most, if I look, it's one of the most shared recipes.
Wow, yeah, that's awesome. There. It's amazing how some of the ones that just like Gigi, you experienced that with your little sweet potato bowl, but some of the ones that just kind of happen organically, you weren't thinking too hard, it just happened by accident. Some of those ones are the best recipes in the end because I feel like it's just an intuitive flow, you know what I mean? And so like, guys, you don't have to make recipes complicated, Simple and Shane, that's the name of your thing, but it's like sometimes it's just being intuitive. It's like, okay, I have some of this, I have some of that, throw it in the pot, and you'll be amazed what sometimes you come up with and not be so like hung up on it has to be this, this sophisticated recipe. Sometimes the ingredients in your house will guide you to some of the best ingredients and your taste buds. Like I feel for something spicy, I feel for something savory, and look what I have. And it kind of makes you be creative in the kitchen. And this is probably what this taco recipe is like, an indication of, guys, is that you could be creative in the kitchen.
Hey, I want to give a quick shout out to some of the people who are on, who are saying hello to us. We've got Charles Moore from Burlington, North Carolina.
Hey.
Chris Morris,
North Carolina.
I know. We've got Chris from the SIP, one of my cycling peeps.
Nice.
Yeah.
Jason Brown, and we've got Marie Nitz. A dear friend, and also one of our Daniel fasters. So hey y'all, thanks for tuning in. So really, I mean, the ingredients for this recipe, it's chickpeas, it's canned chickpeas, you just drain, rinse. So I've got mine right here.
Okay.
And we've got, what else? We've got some low sodium soy sauce or tamari right here.
Yeah.
And then we've got the rest of them. We've got 3 kind of dried seasonings, a chipotle powder. So this is what gives it that nice little kick. Garlic powder, onion powder, and corn tortillas.
Wow.
Yeah.
Simple. Awesome.
Yeah. Very simple.
So
now I will.
Simple.
So I will say, I do want to say, I love smoky. Like I love smoky. So it's kind of like you were saying, Sersie. People don't take the recipe as scripture, like written in stone. Like I love smoky, so I always go back and like add smoked paprika.
Yeah, I have that ready on hand. Yeah.
Yeah, I love smoked paprika. So So hey, so go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, all right. So is there a liquid in this to keep it saucy? Is there water to go with it, or?
It's just the soy sauce.
Yep. Oh wow! Okay, nice.
And then we've got and then whatever topping. So I've got like avocado for my topping. Like I'm just going to smush up avocado with cilantro and lime juice. I guess I
bought.
I didn't get my limes.
I bought some holy guacamole. I love.
Nice. There you go. Now that's really easy. That keeps it real simple, huh?
Yeah.
So, all right. So Shane, we were talking.
Yes.
And Sersie, you might want to chime in on this. We were talking about running. So
Yes.
I went for a run before we kind of signed on to this. And so I was like nibbling on a sweet potato because I just got super hungry. So we were talking about like, I guess, what were you saying, Shane, building up speed?
Yeah. So, so I'm kind of intermittently training for a marathon. I don't know which one yet, but
Mm-hmm.
I want to figure out a way to divvy up my runs or, add some spontaneity, like for speed work. Like, is there a day that's good to like go out and sprint 100 yards and jog 100 yards, or like what's the best way
Mm-hmm.
to increase your mile time? I mean, and I've seen like since I've started, I've seen my mile time increase
Mm-hmm.
on average just naturally, but I'd love to do something that focuses like one day a week specifically
Mm-hmm.
on whether it's interval running or like 30 seconds hard, 30 seconds soft, 30 seconds soft.
Yeah.
You go on the internet and you can find a million training
Mm-hmm.
things, but I just, so anyway,
Yeah.
are we
Kind of.
cooking? Have we started cooking yet?
Yeah.
That's what I'm wondering.
Oh,
Should we?
okay. Okay. I preheated my pan before we went live. So,
Okay,
Oh,
yeah.
so you were ahead.
So you're ready to go. Yeah, mine was kind
Yeah.
of preheating a little bit as well while we were talking. So you
Yeah.
pretty much just go ahead and throw the chickpeas in.
yeah, when the pan's hot, now I
Yeah.
drain the chickpeas.
Yeah.
I try to use no salt added
Mm-hmm.
chickpeas. Or what a lot of people don't know, if you can't find those, if you can find canned
Yeah.
organic, they're usually much lower in sodium than non-organic.
Yeah.
And
Mhm.
so I will usually, if I can find no salt added, I just drain them and then dump them in. I don't rinse them.
Right.
Yeah.
If I can't find the no salt added, I'll rinse them and drain them. But yeah, I just dump them in, and I like to let them sit and kind of toast for a minute.
Before you
Yeah.
add any kind of ingredient. Okay.
Yeah. So
Just
the people watching, the reason why we rinse canned chickpeas if they're not low sodium or no salt added is to get the extra salt off
Oh,
of chickpeas.
yeah.
That's the rationale
Yeah.
for that. So if you're wondering.
yeah.
Yeah.
All right. We
And
also have
here's another thing a lot of people don't realize, and I just want to get this out there.
uh-huh.
Everybody says beans give me gas. Beans don't give you
Yes.
gas. It's the bean juice. If you don't rinse, I didn't know this until a couple years ago. If you don't rinse, it's the juice that they sit in. So that's what gives
Ah.
you the bloated, gassy feeling. So rinse
What
your
about when you cook
beans.
your beans from scratch?
You
But
can still
the
rinse
water,
them.
if you okay, so if you kind of make a soup or something in that same water, that's going to kind of
I
be the problem.
I no, I think it that's the difference in making your own beans. I think
Yeah.
from what I've read, and I don't do a lot of. I'm not a doctor. I'm not a nutritionist. I just am a guy that likes to cook. But
Yeah.
I think it's because when they're packed in cans and they sit, they get
Right.
that juice gets so concentrated. But I think like if
Okay.
you're making it,
It's
I don't know.
different.
But I don't notice it anymore. So
Yeah,
I don't.
the same thing does happen if you're making your own beans. So you'll want to rinse them like before you put them in the Instant Pot. So you know how you soak them overnight? Well, if
Yeah.
you're doing the Instant Pot, you may not be, but if you're soaking them
Yeah.
overnight, rinse them,
Yeah.
or you
Mm.
drain and rinse them before you cook them. With the Instant
Hmm.
Pot, you're going to get it in there, but you just want to drain it, if you're
Yeah.
cooking them from scratch. If
Okay.
that's a problem, I mean, for some people they don't get the gas, So
Yeah.
Yeah.
And sometimes it takes your body a minute to adjust, right? Like if you hardly ate beans and then you just start,
yeah, well,
over
it's the
time your
fiber.
body gets, yeah.
Yeah, because you're
Yeah.
used to a low fiber diet, and then you switch to a
Right.
high fiber diet, and
Yeah.
your gut microbes are like, what the what?
Yeah.
Yeah. Like yeah,
So
you go from
sometimes
what
the gradual increase, like starting off small and increasing over time, if you're very sensitive, is a good idea.
Yeah.
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 We also have Wayne Watson. Hey,
Hey,
Wayne
Wayne.
from St. Louis. We got
What's
and
up,
Charles
Wayne?
says he's taking notes. Nice.
All right, so this is toasted. So we go ahead and add our ingredients.
Yeah. Now, hey, this is one thing I've learned and I love to do
Okay.
is before I add any of the wet, like the soy sauce.
Yeah.
I love to put all my seasonings, my spices on the chickpeas and let them toast. That's what really brings out the flavor.
Flavor.
And so,
Okay. Yeah.
and let them toast, kind of dry a little bit, and then add
And
your
then
soy
lastly,
sauce.
okay.
Yeah. And when you're cooking chili or soups, when you're sautéing onions and stuff like that,
Yeah.
that's a good rule of thumb. Throw your spices in and cook them with your onions and let it toast in your pan because it infuses that flavor. That's why a lot of people, they add their spices at the end, all the liquids in, and nothing gets seasoned.
Yeah.
It's just like seasoned water.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yep.
So, okay, mine are done. See how easy that was?
All right. I just put mine in, so I'm actually gonna let mine cook for a second while I smash up this avocado.
Okay.
Oh yeah, and I gotta put the tortillas in the air fryer. That's how I do. I put mine in the air fryer to get a little crispy.
Yeah, because Cersei's all bougie. She's got. Let me show you.
Yeah.
Let me show you how us Mississippi folk do it. We just take it right out of the bag, and we put it in a bowl that's paper.
Yeah.
We put it in a
paper plate.
Paper bowl.
Yeah.
paper bowl.
That's hilarious.
Yeah, that's funny.
So Cersei's all. I've got to put mine in the
I'm
air
gonna put mine in
fryer
the air fryer and get it all ready. Yep.
because I can't eat cold tortillas.
No, I can't. Not the corn ones.
Oh my goodness. All right.
Plus, I like it to get a little crispy. I like my tortillas to get that little crunch, a little bit of a crunch, almost like a taco.
I feel you.
Ooh, that smells so good.
Oh, I know. In the to me.
Look at that, guys. Woo.
Yes.
Yeah, just toasting it.
And I tend to go overboard on the chipotle chili powder.
Oh, do you? You really love it spicy.
Yeah, but I will tell you, you got to be careful because that stuff is nuclear almost.
Oh, that's funny. Nuclear.
All right.
Sorry, I can't wait, guys.
That's all right. You gotta do what you gotta do, Shane. You know.
I intentionally didn't eat earlier because I was waiting on this.
Oh wow, yeah, that makes sense.
All right.
Did you put your soy sauce in already, Gigi?
No, I'm about to do it right now.
Okay, I'll do it when you do it.
All right, it's going in.
Now I noticed in your picture, Shane, you do you double up your thing when you eat them? I saw in your picture that they were like layered.
Okay, so yes and no.
Okay.
I thought it just looked good for the picture.
Oh, okay.
But no, I do like to. I will say I was kind of giving you a hard time, but I do like to warm up the tortillas in the microwave for like 4 or 5 seconds.
Yeah.
And I do like to double up because they just hold together better.
Okay.
I'm just showing everybody my chickpeas. Can y'all see that?
Oh, that looks lovely.
Oh.
lovely.
Yeah, it smells.
So you're gonna add your soy sauce now?
Yeah, I just did. Yep. Smells awesome.
Yeah. And here's the thing about this recipe. What's so great about it is if you don't want to do tacos, throw this over rice or quinoa with corn, salsa.
Yeah.
You could even just let it cool and put it on a salad, right?
Oh yeah, salad. I tell you, best way to eat it as a salad. Let it cool. Put it over some. What are you eating, Gigi?
I know that ain't on the menu.
Oh,
what's this?
No, she's licking the pit.
Okay.
Like, what the heck?
I know.
She's licking the pit. Well, so you know how you stab the avocado and take the pit
there's
out?
you don't want to leave no avocado left behind, eh?
Some of the avocado got left behind, and I don't want it to go to waste.
She has a philosophy: no avocado left behind.
No avocado
Hey,
left behind.
I bet Gigi's one of those people too. You know how you get to the bottom of your deodorant and the plastic starts scraping you? You go,
Yep.
there's more in there. I know.
That is me. That's me.
Get your money's worth. All right,
like,
I think that's pretty much done.
Ooh,
And it's like it kind of has that like charry, like a little bit charred, a little tiny
Yeah.
bit. Yeah, nice.
That looks awesome.
So I'm gonna get a plate and plate this.
Yeah, I've got some cilantro. I'm gonna chop up right quick.
Yeah, I have cilantro too. And I did the cabbage, the red cabbage, Gigi.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Yep, I got some of that. All right.
Woo!
But I was going to tell you, Gigi, what you brought up about salads. If you get some romaine lettuce, slice it down the middle lengthwise so that you have these big pieces.
Yeah.
And put the chickpeas over that, and then drizzle it with like my homemade ranch or tahini or something like that.
Yeah.
Oh
man,
that sounds wonderful, Shane.
Yeah,
sounds amazing.
I have a couple of the regular tortillas, and then I have these street taco size. So we'll see how many of these I'll be able to.
Those are great.
Yeah, the little tiny. All right, guys, so I got this going. I'm going to add some purple cabbage.
Those are delicious.
Some cilantro. And then some guacamole.
All right, so I'll show you what I've got here in a second after I'm done.
All right.
This is so good.
There we go. I don't know if you guys could see. Yeah, there you go. Nice. Ready to go?
Oh, yeah. Way prettier than mine.
Beautiful, Sersie.
So let me try this. Okay.
All right. And here is mine.
That
pretty.
That is awesome.
This is athletes. This is athletes' food, Shane.
It is.
Yep.
It's loaded with protein.
Yep. All kinds of goodness. All right. So Shane, tell us more about your home remodeling project.
Yeah. So we moved out. This is the first week we've been out. So our house was built in like 1927, I think. And they've ripped all the floors out because the house was starting to sag in the middle. But once they ripped the floors out, our electrical was completely shot. They were like telling us, it's a miracle your house hasn't burned down yet.
Wow.
So we're having all the electrical and plumbing. So we're getting all the foundation. They're putting new beams and pouring concrete pillars under there and jacking the house up. But here's the cool thing. So here's the cool thing. We found that on all the walls and in all the ceiling behind the sheetrock, it's that shiplap, like the old tongue and groove, the entire house.
Wow.
And so they were telling us, they said, nobody can afford, like, you can't build a house like that anymore because it would cost a fortune. So we were just really jazzed to see a lot, like in the overwhelming majority of it was still in great shape. Looked like it was put in yesterday. So, and the other thing is we found like wallpaper from the early 40s, late 30s.
Oh, wow.
It's when they didn't glue it. It had the cloth behind it and they tacked it to the wall.
Wow.
So that's been neat, but I went by today and I know these guys have a vision of what that's going to happen, but you know, I walk in and all I see is everything ripped out in a dirt floor.
Yeah. It'll come together.
So they saying it's take 3 weeks, so they'll get that done, and then we get the subflooring put in, and then we'll move back in sparingly. But then we kind of go to the next phase of getting some bathrooms done and getting my kitchen put in, and So but fortunately, my aunt and uncle own a little cafe right outside of town. It's like a little, they call them greasy spoons, like the burgers and stuff like that. But they're only open on Thursday, Friday, and Saturday nights doing takeout. So during the week, they let me go, and I moved all my photography stuff out there, and I use all their kitchen equipment to cook now for the blog. So,
Wow.
Yeah, so that's good. So
It's interesting in the floor model how the rooms are all interconnected.
Yeah. So did you notice that?
I did. That's how you said they used to make them back in those times. Just kind of.
Yeah. So I noticed this in my great grandparents' house that my great grandfather built. These old homes didn't have hallways.
Yeah.
And we have 10-foot ceilings through this whole house. And they didn't have hallways, so all the rooms were connected in some way, and they had big, tall windows. And what we found out was they built them this way for airflow because they didn't have, air conditioners. So and then the windows were real tall, and they could open them at the top. And what they did is it was so the heat rises. So that's why they built them with tall ceilings, but it was more to kind of keep the rooms cool and just, but you don't find a lot of these houses we're actually putting a hallway in on the back so we can separate the bathroom from one of the bedrooms. But
you have air
like I said
now, right? You have air now.
Oh, it has central air and heating. So but yeah, so it's definitely going to be a labor of love. I mean, but we've never done anything like this before in our lives, and by God's grace, we won't ever do it again. So,
I know. After hearing that story, I'm like, oh gosh.
So but yeah.
Well, good to have you back in Mississippi. I'm sorry I missed you. I was in your town very briefly when we did a bike race with the Soul City Cycling Team in Metro Jackson, Mississippi. We did a relay race from I guess we were in Nashville. I can't even remember. Yeah, we started that's where the trace started. The Natchez Trace starts in Nashville, all the way to Natchez, Mississippi. And so I had the first leg, and I don't even remember where we ended. I think it was in Mississippi or Alabama. We started in Nashville, and then I don't remember. And then we ended up stopping in Tupelo for a hot minute. And I remember thinking I should call Shane. I was like, oh, it's so last minute. That's okay. And so we just ended up, continuing on. But I thought about you for sure. We went to a little restaurant we went to while we were there. But
where did you go? Do you remember?
It's a cute town. I don't remember. I wish I did. I can't remember now. I think it was like a little sports bar or something.
Okay.
But I can't remember the name of it.
Yeah. Tupelo has a really great Thai restaurant. Oh, I love Thai food.
Yeah, I do too.
But well, hopefully you'll come back through soon. I told Andrea I want to, when the crazy calms down, if it ever does, I want to come out and visit the island. That's what I want to do. Where you are.
Y'all are always welcome here. We have a guest bedroom, Shane. So,
well, we're about to go stir crazy, so we're going to have to do something. I mean,
yeah, it's just been such a weird couple years.
Yeah. Did I tell you did I tell you we finally got COVID? Did I tell you that?
Yeah.
Finally, the way you said it, we finally got it.
I was just like, look. Well, no, I wasn't trying to get it, but it was like, my brother's a nurse practitioner, and he said, it's just the way that it works. Eventually it's
everyone's gonna get it.
And so, but it was like we had gone so long without getting it, and the week before Thanksgiving, it was like Wednesday, and it'd been real cloudy that whole week, and it was starting to get cold. And so all of a sudden, like late Wednesday afternoon, Andrea goes, I'm just really tired. And we both kind of get slow every year when it, you know, and then Thursday she said, I'm really tired. And I felt great. I'd been out running and started long runs. And then Friday I walked by her desk and she had her head down. And I said, are you okay? And she goes, I'm just really tired. And I was like, and then by that afternoon, she had a really bad headache behind her eyes, she said.
Yeah.
So I called my brother, who works at an urgent care clinic right up the road from us, and went down and tested. And of course, my brother got it Christmas Eve last year. And then his wife got it. And he says, you know, you work in the medical field, you catch everything at some point, you know, but he tested her and she was laying on the little waiting mattress in there, and he comes in and he starts dancing, and he was like, you got the Rona, like he was like, y'all avoided it long enough. And
yeah,
like, you know, but you know, I mean, thankfully, you know, I
was
think
nothing
what helped
serious.
us,
Yeah.
no, nothing at all. She just had a headache, and she took her vitamins and hydrated, and then by the next day she was still running a little bit of a fever, but you know, she was sitting up in bed and felt better. And then I'm like, well, hey, and I went out and ran like 8 miles on Saturday, and I was like, well, I guess I'm immune or something like that, you know. And then
and then it hit you.
So then Sunday morning I was feeling good, and then Sunday afternoon goes, I feel a little awkward. And then by Sunday night about 9 o'clock, I checked my temperature and I had like 100. I was like 100.1, and then I was like, that's got to be what it is. So I called my brother the next morning and just felt a little achy, and called him, went and saw him, and he goes, yep, you got it too. And I was
because she probably had it first, and then it took a few days for you to get it. What about the kids?
I mean, they never had any symptoms. I mean, they were around, and we didn't, like, by the time we found out that Andrea had it and I had it, we didn't make them quarantine because they'd been around us, and it's like, and so a couple of them had a couple of runny noses and said they felt a little tired, but so they were, but other than that, we don't even know, you know, if they really, it's possible they had it, but but it was interesting. By Monday night, so I was diagnosed Monday morning, but by Monday night, my fever was gone, and I woke up Tuesday and said, hey, I feel great. So I went out to a walking trail, and nobody was out because it was cold. So Andrea and I went down to a walking trail. We walked 2 miles, and I was like, I feel really good. And my brother was actually telling me the more you can sit up, the better.
Yeah,
he said
where
a lot of people will develop like pneumonia or something is laying down and actually being inactive. But I asked him, I said, well, could I go for a run in a couple of days? He said, no, don't run. You know, you don't want to.
You want to use up your body's energy. Yeah.
Yeah. So he goes, you don't want to develop pneumonia or anything. So, but I mean, we quarantined because we were supposed to do Thanksgiving with the family in Mississippi that week. But because we had just been diagnosed, we ended up spending Thanksgiving just at our house. Yeah. But after the first day, you know, if you had come over to our house, you wouldn't have known. Fortunately, that, you know, you wouldn't have known.
Yeah, I think by then it's the Omicron by November, I think, right? Omicron December.
I think we had, that's probably where we had gone into. So.
Well, so I was in Tupelo November, I think it was the 18th. Was that around?
So you would have, had you met him, you probably could have gotten COVID.
I probably could have.
So that's right before Thanksgiving.
I think that was the week before Thanksgiving. So it's possible. So divine intervention.
Yeah, that's why you probably never met up. Yeah.
So
nice.
But fortunately, we never lost taste or smell or anything
it wasn't
like
that severe. Thank God. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So
that's good.
But anyway,
and I guess now because it's something that everyone's going to get, vaccine or no vaccine, I think this is why it's so important to like really just eat healthy foods and kind of have your body prepared, you know, in a sense, you know?
Yeah. And I think, you know, it's like, because I did have a couple of friends that kind of, your plant-based diet really worked. And I was like, yeah, it actually kind of did, I think.
Yeah,
I think that's, you know, I mean, I don't think that I wasn't so naive to think, oh, I'm never going to get this or whatever. But I
Yeah.
think
It's the
for
outcomes is
me,
the issue.
yeah, I think it's like preparing your body and equipping it as best you can to fight
Right.
those things.
Right.
And
Exactly.
Right. Yeah, it's
so,
lowering the risk of complication. Because
Yeah.
the food, I mean,
Yeah.
this food that we eat, I mean, it's anti-inflammatory, it's high in antioxidants, high in phytochemicals, so it's the right food for this time.
Mm-hmm.
As far as
Yeah.
Yeah.
boosting your immunity and just lowering your risk of disease. So Shane, real quick, for the people who don't know you, and I know there are a lot of people who do, but we've got, I think, about 8. How many do we have in the group now, Sersie? About 8 or 9,000?
9,000. 9,000. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So
Wow.
when you came on last year, I think we had like 400. So we've grown a little bit.
Wow.
Yeah.
That is crazy.
So why don't you share a little bit about your story?
Your story.
In
Yeah,
terms
that's
of
right.
how you came to a whole food plant-based diet and starting shaneandsimple.com.
Shane and Simple.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. So I originally grew up in Mississippi in the little town that we're back in, and played sports, was super active and never had an issue, never struggled with weight or anything like that.
Mm-hmm.
But then, but after I got out of college, played football through high school and college. And after I got out of college, moved to Nashville and did the typical, just kind of got lazy. And I've always been a foodie and loved to eat, but just over the course of, about 15 years, just constantly gained weight, got super unhealthy and inactive. And by the time I was 36, 37, I'd gotten up to about 265, 270 pounds, which when I left college, I was about 185, 190, got up to about 265 pounds. And long story short, had developed diabetes, had super high cholesterol. I'd had a physical because I was working at a church at the time as a worship pastor, and the pastor that I worked with, he was fairly fit. He ran a lot, cycle. He's a biker. He's a cycler. I didn't even think about that. Yeah. And he told me, he said, I want you to go have a physical. You need to, and we were living in Charlotte, and this was back in 2008, I think.
Mm-hmm.
So I went and had a physical, and the doctor sent me a letter and said, I need to see you and talk to you. My triglycerides are through the roof. I had a fatty liver. I was pre-diabetic at the time, and my blood pressure, my cholesterol was 380, something like that. And so just a walking heart attack. And I never went back to the doctor. I didn't go, because I was like, if I don't go back, I'll be okay. They won't tell me anything.
Yeah. Oh, wow.
Yeah.
And so anyway, we ended up eventually moving to Opelika, Alabama, right outside of Auburn. And I started developing staph infections fairly regularly, and they wouldn't heal. And then found out I had diabetes.
Yeah.
And then I just remember one morning, it was about 2 weeks before I turned 40. So it was 2000. It was December of 2012 or January of 2013. That's what it was. It was December 2013. I remember going in to get on the scale that Sunday morning. It was about 6:30, 7 o'clock, and I'd hit 282 pounds or something like that.
Wow.
And I just felt terrible all the time. And I finally realized something's got to give, or I'm not going to be around much longer. And I reached out to a buddy of mine who I'd seen him do something on Facebook, and I thought, man, he had lost a lot of weight. And they had recommended I watch Forks Over Knives. And when I realized it was about a plant-based diet or a vegan diet, I'm like, no, vegans eat bark and wheatgrass.
Yeah.
And I'm like, no, I love steak and potatoes too much. And so anyway, I sat down with my wife that night, but I was at the end of my rope, so I got to do something. Watched it, and I was like, I think I could do this, because it was telling me, it didn't tell me I was surprised at what you could eat, because you know
Could
we
eat.
hear
That's
don't
it.
eat carbs, don't eat
Right.
Yes,
potatoes,
yes.
you know, stuff like that. But when I saw the results of these people getting healthy, but
Mm,
like they were eating pasta and the desserts you could make, and it was just learning how to
yeah.
cook again. So the next day I went hardcore, just all in, because I'm an all or
Mm,
nothing type person. I
yeah.
can't do moderation,
Yeah.
and just went all in. But for the first week or two, you know, it was still learning how to cook, because I was like, well, what does it really mean to eat plant based? You don't associate. I tell people, you don't realize how you're, in a lot of ways, you're already eating
Yes.
a plant based diet with beans and, you
Mm,
know, potatoes. Just
yeah.
eliminate the bad stuff, you know. And so anyway, for the first week or two, it was like tofu and salads, and
Mm,
then but then just finding Engine 2 and going to the Forks Over Knives website, and just finding like these little communities on Facebook and stuff like that,
yeah.
and learning how to read labels, just learning how to cook again.
Mhm.
And then it just was life changing, because my
Mm,
goal at the beginning was like, well, if I eat this way 5 days a week, you know, then I can enjoy myself on the weekends. But I felt so good
Mhm.
that I didn't want anything to interrupt that. And so I was just kind of
yeah.
all in hardcore. And, you know, I think within the first week I lost 11 pounds, but I was really
Wow.
overweight. But by the end of the first month, I had lost, in 2 weeks, I lost 19 pounds.
Mhm.
And
Wow. Yeah.
so, yeah, so it was just, I could just see the difference and feel the difference. So in 3 months, I lost 55 pounds and dropped down to
Mm,
226. My
mm,
cholesterol went from almost 400 to 199.
Mhm.
wow.
And my blood pressure, the last time I'd had it checked, was like 153 over 106. And
Mm.
I had a physical, and it had dropped down to 126 over 79. and and
Mm,
and this was all without exercise initially. But then my blood
mm,
sugar, I had no signs of diabetes or anything. and
Yeah.
wow.
so and so that's and I kind of said the 3 month marker would be the telltale for me, and that was just my goal. But when I saw that, I'm like, I'm all in, I'm done,
Yeah.
like.
Hmm.
And then that was it. And so I think to date, you know, I've lost a little, close to 100 pounds.
Wow.
And you know, I'll be 49 in February, and not an ache or a pain, and go out and run. And you know, it's like, I don't know, I mean, and I tell people, you know, and people that know me are still shocked, you know, that, because
Yeah.
Shane was the meat guy. But
Hmm.
it didn't just change my dietary life. It changes your impact on how you view the world, how
Yes.
you view other things. I mean, it really does. It's
Yeah.
very enlightening
Life
and eye
changing.
opening,
Yeah.
and
Hmm.
yeah, it is. And I think, you know, as a Christian, you know, I kind of
Hmm.
go, it really gives you an idea, like back in the garden with Adam and
Yes.
Eve. I mean,
Yeah.
before blood had to be shed. I mean, it's like
Right.
there's this, you know, the fruit of the
Going back to
vine, and
Eden. Yeah. Yeah.
yeah. So, but anyway, all that to say, I mean, it just, and then kind of the way the whole Shane and Simple thing started was, I it mainly started because people were going, "Hey, I would love to do what you do, like family and friends, but I don't know where to start." So I thought, well, I can just blog and send it to my family and friends, and had no idea about making money. And then as I followed bloggers, I was like, man, I think I'd love to do this. Like, I would love the blog lifestyle. Like,
Mhm.
it
Yeah.
just seems
Yeah.
cool. And so,
Yeah.
so back in 2017, um, and just being an artist and a perfectionist, I had started talking about the blog, I guess, Gigi, when I lived in Madison, when you and I first met.
Mhm.
And the blog went through 3 different name changes, and I didn't know anything about photography. And I wanted my blog to look like all the pro bloggers, and my wife said,
Yeah.
just put something out there, just
Out.
do it.
Right.
And for a few years I didn't, and then finally in 2017 I just finally settled on the Shane and Simple name, and just put my first recipe out. And the pictures are horrible, I took them with an iPad. And but I
Yeah.
love doing it and talking about the food. And so for the first, yeah, I don't know, so I did that for a couple of years, and it just grew and grew and grew. And then by 2019, we made the decision. I left ministry full time and started pursuing the blog, and it's just steadily grown ever since. And so it's been great, you know. And I mean, it's just, and every year we kind of go, oh, we made it another year. We made it another year. And,
Yeah. Well,
you know,
we are so, I am so grateful. We're so grateful that you're doing what you do. To share your love and passion for cooking, for healthy cooking, for the beautiful photographs you take and the wonderful recipes like the one we're making tonight, which is the Chipotle chickpea tacos. So definitely go to shaneandsimple.com to check that out. But, you know, I was talking to Sersie, or no, actually I was talking to the cycling group I mentioned, Soul City Cycling, and about a plant-based diet and being an athlete on a plant-based diet. And I can honestly say, had I not changed what was on the end of my fork, I would not be I wouldn't be standing here talking to you two. I wouldn't be cycling. I wouldn't be doing a whole host of things. And I remember thinking back when I had a hard time with the thought of giving up meat and dairy and all those things. I was just thinking, oh, what's my life going to be? It's going to be like horrible. It's just, the quality of my life's going to go down. And the total opposite happened. Like the quality of my life increased like through the roof. And it was just because I changed what was on the end of my fork, and and how that has impacted not just my health and my cholesterol, my weight, and my energy level, but also just all aspects of my life, including the friends I now have, as well as the career that I'm in today versus what I was doing, like 10 years ago. So, if you're worried or concerned, I can't give up meat, just do it. Just try it. Like Shane, you did it for 30 days, or you started and you noticed difference after a couple of weeks, 30 days. I think all of us have that story who committed to it. You notice a difference very quickly when you eliminate the stuff that's promoting inflammation in your body and poisoning you. And at the same time, eating only foods that restore health and lower inflammation, stop free radicals and all that good stuff, you will feel the difference. It's amazing. So,
and that's why I'm such an advocate for going all in. I know there's many roads to the same destiny, but I feel like if you could go all in, just give yourself 30 days, even 6 weeks of your life, you get to feel what it completely feels like to be healthy. Because when you do it in bits and pieces, you don't really get a full picture, and it could be misleading. You could almost think like, well, I'm eating healthy, but I don't feel, that zen that everybody's talking about, because you're in and out. But when you go all in, you get to really feel it. And then you're at a crossroads where you could say, like you said, Shane, I don't want to do weekends anymore, because you do carve out, well, I'm just going to, eat healthy for 5 days. But your body will tell you what it needs. And then you realize, I don't want to give this up. But if you don't give yourself that chance, you really shortchange yourself, and you take the longer route. It's like taking the longer route home. You'll get there, but it's a long road, right? But if you take that, you pay that toll, sometimes I didn't want to pay the toll, but I'm getting there a lot faster. You just pay that toll, which is carving out that time. You're going to get there faster, feel energized. You didn't waste so much time, and you get to the answer so much faster,
Yeah, and I think that's a good point, Sersie. Like, and I tell people, even if you can do moderation well, the thing that you hit on was, you're not going to experience what you would experience. And so, you may eventually get to a point where you eliminate everything, but the effects, you're not going to experience the effects until you actually get to that point. And it's like, I think, because one of the things I run into all the time, and people say, well, I have all this other food in my house already. And I'm like, I love the analogy of Cortez when he came to the New World. And, he came with his ships. And when everybody got off, he burned the ships so they couldn't leave, because he said, this is where we are now. This is our new life. And he got rid of all escape. So he burned their ships. And so I thought, you know, like just clean your pantry out. Just,
Yeah.
you know, it's like, it's much better in the garbage can than it is inside of you.
Right.
And so, you know, and just pour the soda pop down the sink, get rid of all the boxed crap, and just start over. I mean, it's like, you know, and it's like, I know that sounds kind of extreme, but it's kind of like Dr. Esselstyn says, you know, he goes, well, there are a lot of people that are going to have an artery taken and put in a bypass. And he goes, but that's extreme. You know?
Yeah.
But so that's why I'm a big advocate too of just going all in, because you know, I think not going all in has the potential to create a discouragement, because it's like, well, I'm eating a little better, but I'm not seeing the
result.
Right.
And it's misleading. You know?
Yeah. And then they'll say, well, maybe it's just not for me. My body's different. Well, you don't know that because you don't have a good data point. You don't have a data point, right? You need a good data point, and a good data point is all in, you know, all in. And then you get a good data point. So,
Exactly.
And I tell everybody, it's just for you to try it. Because at the end of the day, if feeling good is not for you, it's just not for you.
Right.
You know, but
right.
But
if
you have to make that decision, because for some people they're like,
and
no, I don't want to feel good. I don't want to lower my high blood pressure.
Not for you. Yeah.
I don't want to lose the weight, you know, but we'll see, you know, and that's it, you know?
Yeah.
So, but
exactly
it's an amazing story, Shane. I mean, there's so many of these stories of the power of food, and I never get tired of hearing them, you know, even the same ones. So,
well, and I think about this too, and Gigi, you kind of alluded to this, but it's like, I don't think I've ever done anything in my life that made me change careers at this point in my life. And that's what food did, you know? Because you don't commend things to people that you don't cherish or that you value. You know, and so I really feel like that's what I love about doing things like this with y'all, and just it's just that it's a common table. You know, I mean, it's just again, it's just life changing. You get excited about what you eat because you've seen how it's not just losing weight. Losing weight is a side effect of this lifestyle. But it's about you're really honoring your temple and taking care of your temple, and you know. So
you feel like you're living your values, you know, like I got this mental and spiritual clarity that I didn't have before. You know?
That's exactly right. So
exactly.
Yeah, we have
and then couple... guys, and then go ahead. Somebody have some comments. What do they have?
Yeah, I was just gonna read a couple comments here. We've got quite a few. Let's see. We got someone taking notes. Let's see. That looks plumb good. Okay. Explosive. Looks good. Nice. Looks so good. Yum. Joe approved. That was Marie. Marie likes to cook with us, so she's eating your tacos. Shane. So her and Joe. Now I'm totally hungry. Gigi, will that dish help cycling? Oh yeah, it'll help cycling. Yeah, definitely. Enjoyed, but I'm going to eat. Thank you. Okay, and I got a wow. So we've got some engaged people here. We've got folks listening from Facebook, LinkedIn, and on YouTube. So we've got kind of different places they're taking from. So
yeah.
So Shane, anything else you want to share with us?
Yeah.
Anything? You got a marathon coming up?
But I just got to figure out which one. Yeah, I just looked at the time frame and see. That's another thing too. If people are like me, like if you're struggling, you need to move. You need to move. Like diet. It's that 80-20 rule. Like everybody told me. 80% of what you do is like losing weight and getting fit and healthy. 80% is at the table. And then, you know, or maybe even 90 is diet, but you've got, you need to be moving, even if it's just walking, or,
walking,
you know,
is great.
I mean, I love endurance sports. Like I want to feel like I've just been beat to a pulp, but that's me,
Yeah.
you know, and I need that
You're
because
not alone,
I'm
Shane. You're not alone.
Yeah.
I'm a very passionate person. I'm a nicer person when I do
Yeah.
CrossFit or, you know, an extreme sport. So, I mean, kind of know, but I'll tell you again, you know, I'm almost 50 and I feel like I'm still active. I don't notice aches or pains and I'm,
Yeah.
you know, still, and it's like you, Gigi. I was like, I attribute that to going to a whole foods plant-based diet. You know, it's like
Yeah.
I recover better. I just feel better. And so, but I think the big thing is I would tell people is just do a little something every day.
Yeah.
Even if it's just standing up and stretching or being in motion, you know, just it makes a bigger difference than you realize. So
Oh yeah.
but so that'd be the only other thing that I would add is like is just
Make
get
sure you do
active
the
in
movement.
some way.
Yeah. And you get a better bang for your buck, you know, because when you exercise and you're fueling your body with the right thing, that exercise goes a longer way because you're not fighting against the grain. You know what I mean? Because I know for the longest time when I'm not eating right and I'm exercising, I feel like I'm fighting against the grain, you know. But it's so everything just seems like it fits when you have both.
And I'll tell you something I've noticed about myself. If you exercise more, you'll find that you'll eat less junk naturally. That's what I have found because I like the thought of trying to exercise after eating crap makes me physically sick. Like I just because I know I'm not going to be I'm not going to be able.
There's no way to work it off.
No. It's like so I found like the two just work together. You know, they just. But it's not about going out and training for a marathon. You know, it's about having personal goals. And the main reason I put a marathon on my refrigerator is because I'm like, I'm not going to go out and just subject myself to running in the cold if there's no goal. You know,
you have to have an end point. You've got to have a goal.
Yeah. And so now look, I'll say, you know, this sexy bod didn't come easy. I mean, I know a lot of people think that, but
you have to work for it.
You got to work for it, but it's easier to work for. But hey, I do want to say this in all seriousness. I noticed the other day I was looking at my Pinterest analytics and like it breaks down the majority of your followers. Over 90% of my followers are female. And what that tells me is that men are still struggling to get on board with a whole foods plant-based diet. And the first thing I tell men is the canary in the coal mine is erectile dysfunction. And if you want to see yourself stay active and strong in certain areas, you get on the plants.
Like, they need to advertise that more because I think
I think they do. I mean, it sounds kind of funny, but it's like it's like like they're starting to do papers on that now. And I mean, I'm like, I mean, with men with low testosterone and issues like that. I mean, so
I interviewed Dr. Aaron Spitz. He was in the Game Changers. I interviewed him on my YouTube channel. He wrote the penis book or something like that. So he's an expert in that area. And everything you just said is spot on with what he said. It's an early indicator of other
heart disease
problems. So it's kind of like, you know, when that starts to happen, you've got problems elsewhere that just haven't come to the surface yet.
Because I think they said on the Viagra, they're now putting that you need to check with your doctor for possible heart disease now on the Viagra bottle. Well, because it's an indication of a circulation problem. It's not isolated.
Right. And so I think that's why they tell people if you're taking heart medication, you can't take Viagra because it's a blood thinner.
Right.
I mean, that's essentially is what it is. And so, but yeah, I mean, it's like, and I mean, that alone made me go, no, I'm all in on the plants. More kale, baby. More kale.
More kale.
Exactly.
Oh, baby, that kale is so sexy. So
and I think too that it goes against because what happens is we've already had this manhood associated with eating a lot of meat rhetoric that we're fighting against. And I think that's what it is. Men have associated, well, you know, I'm manly if I'm eating these large steaks and potatoes, like, you know, and so it's now kind of changing the narrative now to say, well, wait a minute, those things might be counterproductive because we've had this image for so long. So, but I think it's
Yeah.
changing. But yeah.
I do think it's changing, but I still run into people
Mhm.
like with the whole soy thing. Now you're seeing doctors
Yeah.
tell patients to
Yeah.
get on soy because
Yeah.
it's prohibiting relapses, and it's like, men, if there are
Yeah.
any men listening, soy does not cause man boobs and it does not cause your
Yeah.
testicles to shrink.
Yeah.
It
No.
doesn't.
Yeah.
So it's like
Yeah.
it.
Yep.
So anyway, and we
Yeah.
eat like I have 4 girls and 1 son. And
Yeah.
we eat a lot of, I don't say soy is the main part of our diet, but we have a lot of
Yeah.
tofu in the fridge, and
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
it's a normal part of our diet. And
Yeah.
Diet. Yeah, for sure.
you know, and so
Awesome.
my wife and girls don't see estrogen levels fly through the roof.
No.
They don't. My son and mine's testosterone levels are super healthy. So I mean, it's
Yeah.
that's just a big bunch of crap. So
Yeah.
sorry, I don't mean
Yeah.
to use the word crap so much.
No,
Yeah.
you can use crap. I say crap.
Okay.
I mean, I say other things,
Yeah.
but I won't say them right now.
Yeah.
Yeah. I say a lot
Yeah.
of other things. So.
I always have to
So,
say when Sersie and I are on a conference call, I say, "Is Kelsey in the room?"
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah. Yeah. Or friends will call me and they'll go, "Hey, are you on speakerphone?" That's what I'll do.
Yeah.
Take me off speakerphone, man.
I know.
So.
Well, awesome. Well, Shane, thank you so much for coming on tonight. We're so glad you allowed us to make your recipe with you and to share all your wisdoms and thoughts and what's going on with you. It's always a pleasure. Just so much fun.
Same
I'm
here.
just so glad you came on tonight.
Yeah, and I'm longing. I think we talked earlier, but I'm ready for the crazy to subside, and I can't wait. I really believe in the near future the 3 of us are going to get together and hang out. Like, that is my that has to happen in the near future.
Yeah, it will. I think things are coming to a close. Hopefully,
I agree.
Yeah.
I agree. All right, so we're gonna close out here, everybody. ShaneandSimple.com. Subscribe, check him out. He's got awesome recipes. He's fading out.
I'm fading.
Yeah.
So, all right, well, I got to make sure I feed Kevin too. He's waiting for us to wrap up so he can have some tacos as well. So
I know, right? All right.
Well, y'all have a good night.
Have a good night, everyone.
Okay, bye everybody. Bye-bye.